Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, it has been over a month since I have been here. I am Harbleu, bringing you the final split of Vancouver Titans season. Oh my gosh, it has been, I think I just checked, last match was in July 4th. So yeah, it has legitimately been over a month since our last match here. But hey, a little break's always good for a team. A month, well, not even a little break at this point, but a month break is a lot of time for Vancouver Titans to fix any issues they've had throughout the rest of the season. You put the rest of the season behind you, their main goals this final split should be just getting good sets, like not having a repeat of some of the earlier splits. And really, I would like to see them win a match. I believe one of the matches this split are against London, who also hasn't looked that great themselves. So they hopefully should be able to take that one. Today they play against Boston Uprising, and I've heard they're pretty confident winning this one too. So who knows what that'll transition into? But I always like hearing confidence in the team going into a match. And it's not like Boston is like these world beaters themselves. Boston's a good team, but when Vancouver is on their A game, plus with hero bans and everything else, we could have a lot different showing this match. But let's quickly start out here with the players. It's been a month, so we'll quickly run down the roster again just so everyone remembers who's playing in case it's I'm not going to watch it in a while either. So on DPS, it sounds like we have Dalton and Linkser both starting. I'm not sure if we're going to see Teru at any point today. It sounds like no, but with the meta being what it is, and with hero bans being out there, I think normally Teru's diverse hero pool would be really good for the team, but they must have found some combination with Dalton Linkser that has been working good for them. I've heard potentially Farah Tracer, potentially some Sombra in there, so it'll be cool to see any of those, but that's still kind of up in the air. On tank, we have Changstick and Fried Wiener, like always, and then on support, we have Rolf and Fire, who Fire apparently is none too happy about Lucio being banned this split, but that's every Lucio main out there. They can deal with it. But that is the roster for Vancouver Titans. Let's quickly go into all the other stuff we have. We're going to behind the numbers also. We have Changstick on it, which he has, it looks like, a nice 37,000 damage blocked. Almost 37,000. We'll round it up. 106 ults total. Also remember, Changstick did not play the first split, so all these numbers are only from the past two splits, so not bad, not bad. And then 14,500 damage amped. Another good number there. A solid 1450. We take those. And so that is a Changstick, his behind the numbers. Presented by Sportsnet, of course. And then we also have keys to the game presented by Best Buy and Intel. So number one key to the game is be patient during team fights, wait for the first, or force the first mistake. I can see that point. I think some fights, it's been a reoccurring trend through the beginning part of the season, is that even in fights where Vancouver goes up 6 versus 5, where they get that initial pick, it seems like they would sometimes then rush the fight and somehow manage to lose a fight with numbers advantage. So even getting that first pick isn't sometimes enough to rush it in. Sometimes you want to make sure after you get that first pick to push coordinated and make sure you don't lose anyone yourselves. Number two, mitigate Valentine's ult output as much as possible. Valentine's a pretty gosh darn good DPS player, so being able to shut him down and make sure he doesn't get much value from any of his ults, always important, obviously. And then number three, deny easy healing for Mewbong, which I will say Boston's support line is pretty good, so being able to put just pressure, constantly having your tanks, it sounds like dive tanks are back in the meta. Winston D.Va, you know how it is, so having Winston D.Va constantly just putting pressure and diving the supports. Hopefully the Vancouver DPS should be able to clean up then. So that is the keys to the game. And then last but not least, the other reoccurring trend, breadstick board is back. And it sounds like this breadstick board was built specifically with the coaches. So hopefully every tack that's on it, every bingo piece, hopefully these actually are applicable. And I actually haven't had a chance to look over it myself here. Let me look at this. Double Pulse Bomb, Pile Driver Elim. I guess if Hammond's ever played, that's pretty easy to get. Maybe D.Va Elim. It sounds like D.Va is being played, but ever since they've nerfed the range on the D.Va remake, that's not a guarantee anymore like it used to be. 5 times melee final blows. I assume that's like for the entire team across the set, or is that like a single player across a single map? Entire team across a map. Okay, I see that being got, but sometimes hard to tell if it's a melee kill or not. 10 times ulti limbs. That sounds like it should also be doable. D.Va eats ult, knowing Fried Wiener. As long as there's like an ult for him to eat, I think he'll do it. So if they're playing against like a Tracer, without a doubt, he's going to eat a Pulse Bomb. Double Barrage. I've heard Pharah's going to be played, so Pharah ult is kind of one of those press Q to die ults sometimes, so you might just see both of them toss it out, and then both get killed instantly. So maybe you'll see that. Really, from looking at the board, I've seen some completable options there, and it's been an entire season. We've yet to have breadsticks presented by Pizza Hut. So hopefully tonight, hopefully they win the match first and foremost. You know, this is just like a fun little extra thing to give back to the fans, but I think the breadsticks has been like a reoccurring trend throughout the season, so it would be cool to see them finally go into the people's mouths. The breadsticks, that is. So, let's see. Other than that, though, it's been a month. I actually have not caught any of the current split patches myself with hero bans and everything else, since, again, it's Vancouver Titans' first match also, so I'm definitely excited to see what's run, and knowing Lucio is banned, that definitely limits some of the options that you can run. Because normally having speed is necessary to enable certain comps. Like if you ever wanted to run like a Rhine comp. Not that Rhine was played much to begin with. But having Lucio just not there, I expect to see Brig played. I expect to see Bap, maybe Anna. But you'll probably see a lot of Brig. Brig's a good hero still. It's been like 50 years, and Brig is still like one of the best supports. But it is what it is with that. But other than that, it looks like they're still talking here a little bit. I'm pretty out here with my stuff to say, so I will be back after the first map, which is Busan, by the way. I didn't do my prediction yet. Let's see. You know what? New split. I heard the players were confident themselves. I heard they're going in like feeling good, expecting to beat Boston here. I'm going to say 3-2 down the wire. Vancouver takes it. And again, I'm not just tossing this out here. I think that month break is a long time where teams can look very different in that month span. And Vancouver Titan does have good talent. It's always just been more about putting it all together and like converting map wins into actual series wins. And they have the talent to do it. And I'm very excited to see how they look after this month-long break. But I will be back after Busan to be able to break that down, and I will see you guys all then.
Statistically speaking, you know, I think this roster has, I mean, Stan 1 played incredible Wrecking Ball last week. He looks really good, and this might be the best meta game for Myeonbong. This team's prospects, Matt, I feel are pretty darn good.
It's been a team on the rise throughout this season, where I feel like the Titans are kind of catching them at a bad time, where Boston is they've been kind of improving, right? And then the Titans obviously still struggling. But you see the Titans players, high spirits there, everybody having a good time. As Busan will be map number 1 in this set. And I think, obviously, it's the kind of the same situation as we had in the last series. If you are Boston, you come in, try and take care of business. If you're the Titans, muddy it up, see what you can get in this series. I also think this series tells us a lot about what potentially we'll have down the road with Titans versus London. London did not look very impressive today. I think the Titans, you come in with some more coordination. The Titans, although they've lost every game in the same scenario as London, they've kept it close at times. They've had like stretches where they have been rough, like real rough, but they've also had stretches of times where they have not looked as bad, so maybe they just ran into a good stretch of teams over a few weeks, and now they can kind of get everything back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans actually have a good opportunity to control the narrative going into a match like that. Yeah. Look, we're not trying to hype up a match between two teams that is 0-13, but we are. Well, that's a lie. I'm lying. Yeah, we are actually.
We are. Yeah,
we're celebrating that special spot on the ladder. So again, look, a good look here for the Vancouver Titans, or at least a look that demonstrates some understanding or mastery of this meta, will set them in good stead, especially in the punditry that will certainly surround the bread ball in the future. But right now, it's for the Boston Uprising to show they can go from strength to strength in this meta. And we'll see them come out of the gates here with Soldier Sombra.
Yeah, now Boston gonna run Orisa 76 with the Batiste in the mix. So very stationary. Want to have the Titans come in, try and dive, make a play. Just really good survivability with Immortality Field, the healing of Batiste. Also, you know, the other kind of survivability that the other heroes bring to the table.
Chunksic doing a little bit of scouting right now. It's the Uprising that, again, want to play relatively slow, just because that Sombra point of difference here. Building up EMP is quite big. They have that Orisa in their composition here. So how does Chunksic navigate this very durable and steadfast front line?
Well, the thing is the Boston Uprising know that the Titans have to be the team that makes that first move. And they're just poking them down at range, and you just see everybody low on the Titans. They don't have that big burst healing of like a Batiste or you know, an Ana to bring everybody back to life. And just you know, just over time, they're gonna lose that fight. As longer it draws out, the better it is for the Boston Uprising.
Tough assignment here for Chunksic, who knows that he can't go face-to-face in the front line. He can't risk getting halted out into the open and shield bashed and blown up here. This is a Baptiste Baptiste and Brigitte look, not a Zen one. So it's a different looking composition, and it functions, you know, differently as well. We'll see what they can do sort of against a ball setup. They don't have a Discord or match to rely on here just to amp that damage.
Yeah, but you're going to have an EMP that comes in here. The Transcendent's just a little bit late, not able to save Dalt.
Chunksic! Yep, doesn't last very long. There is a damage amplification of a different kind here. Obviously with that amp matrix in play there, and Chunksic got caught out in front of it. Again, look, we wanted to see Vancouver sort of come out here and have a decent understanding of the way to play the meta. Look, they're picking the ball, they're playing the Zen Brig, but they're not getting much value out of it at all. And the Uprising are doing their own thing with their comp. They look very comfortable.
Yeah. And I wonder if the answer here, right, you're taking so much chip damage, like I mentioned, I wonder if the answer here is playing some kind of like Winston Ana kind of composition. You can build up that nano rather quickly. You can nano the Winston, you know, maybe send him in, force out cooldowns, then kind of come back in for the next go.
Valentine, I think, yeah, he notes where Chunksic is approximately. I mean, the way that the Boston Uprising are playing, they're always going to see the Wrecking Ball coming. Dalton spots Faith, realizes he best go around that particular element. Doesn't want to deal with the Brig too much here, but he gets hacked! He gets hacked on the point! Oh god, the self-destruct! The humanity, Matt! Orphan Links are down, and Dalton's able to find a Pulse Bomb stick again, something he's known for. Myeonbong falls. Valentine, though, has his own brand of healing, though, and Chunksic is just floundering around on the point there, Matthew. Nothing he could do there. Looks like he was stunned up by Faith. And this will be a pretty quick one at this rate. Desert there, Dalton trying to keep it alive. Fire on the point here. He's going to get run off pretty quickly. There's a Discord on stand one right now. He's a little vulnerable, but somehow going to 1v1 Linkser, gets an Immortality Field thrown from the back lines. Some stall here again from the Wrecking Ball as he can return quite quickly to the fray. But that'll be it. Boston look dominant in map one. Round one, rather.
Yeah, I mean, that was all Boston. There was nothing really that the Titans did offensively to get anything going. Not really any compositional changes to try and circumvent any of the things that Boston was bringing in. So now as we move into Mecha Base, some changes potentially going to go down here for the Titans. Chunksic goes over to the Orisa. Are you going to try and play the Orisa with the Zen? I think that'll be the thing we look at. This is a nice bomb. Halt comes through.
I mean, Rolf is fuming.
Didn't get hit by it. He didn't get hit by the Halt.
No, he was behind that stone obelisk there and probably thought he was breaking line of sight, but it's like a sharpened piece of flint, Matthew, like an arrowhead. There's no guarantee that you're actually blocking the bomb explosion by standing where he was, but that's the best he could do, really.
Titans will take the high ground here with their Orisa setup. They're going to have the advantage in terms of like long-range damage, right, with the Zen in the mix. But in terms of survivability, without the Immortality Field and the healing of Batiste, you're not going to be able to last in these fights as long. So if you're Boston, just try and close the gap. And once those fights start to fall in that medium to short range, that's where you have the advantage. But you're going to lose Item 37 off the rip.
Immortality Field has to be deployed to keep Stand 1 on his feet. Lisa, comfortable position here in the backline. Domino's doing everything. Get rid of both DPS players, forces a switch from I'm37 over to the Hanzo. This has to be a responsive thing to the shield of Chunksik.
Yeah, absolutely. It also shows that you're going to have a Valentine switch over to the Torb. So obviously the Torb will be to watch the flanks for Dalton, just annoying to deal with, and then trying to get some extra damage to match the shield pressure. I am actually confused though, Mitch, to be honest, why we didn't see the Titans go to this maybe on the last point, right? It feels like they just kind of gave it up, playing a pretty lackluster comp the entire time.
They felt they were dead. They were locked into playing that certain way for whatever reason. Milmong loses his immortality field there, but the tactical visor should find some purchase. Fire with 2. Much better look for Vancouver right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, you slow the game down, you're gonna be in a position where maybe the Titans can make something happen. Boston had to make a bunch of changes now to get over this comp, so they lose some ult charge. You had an Ant Matrix used there, didn't really get much of anything. I know a Dragon Strike comes through, you have the Transcendence ready if you're the Titans.
Stand 1, shield down, supercharges are in play here. I'm37 going to fall early. And those superchargers are now out of the picture here. It's a whole split for the Uprising. They're completely broken apart. A lot of inanimate objects being dealt with here, but Valentine falls to Chunksik. And the Titans look comfortable in this Orisa mirror. Yeah, sure, it makes it even more mystifying to see them play ball in that previous round, but we forget about that now.
It's almost starting off exactly how the last series started off, right? Like, London dominated that first point, if I remember correctly. Then, like, the Defiant won the next 2. Like, you could have Boston win the first one in a big fashion. Titans in a position here to dominate the second one. Where a lot of these have seemed to come down to, like, comps and, execution.
Fire going down early. Dalton's Pulse Bomb. That's a good one. Immortality Field has to be used there to keep Valentine alive, and the Molten Core comes out. He ends up falling, and Punk's calling a pause here in the middle of the fight. I can tell you right now that having already lost Valentine, it's a 5v5 situation after Dalton's Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, it is a 5v5, and you're going to have Linkser with a Tactical Visor coming up here in a sec, and you're going to have I'm37 with a Dragon Strike. I think in this situation, you'd rather have the Tac Visor a little bit more impactful, like nothing like a grab the combo with the Dragon. Potentially, you kind of get a halt with the Dragon, but then you kind of get out of the way, get out of dodge, or just be able to stay alive, right? If you're a Chunksik or FRD, being able to fly out of the way. But still, Titans at 98% as well. Somebody's going to have to touch the point as soon as we get off of this for Boston, as it doesn't look like anybody's particularly close.
No, and there's no, obviously, like Lucio speed or any flankers that can sort of blink onto the point, so it's unclear just how easy it's going to be for Boston to even touch here. This Torb Hanzo has looked god-awful from him in this round. I think I'm37 has really struggled to be able to find ways to get around Chunksik's shield, and frankly, the Uprising haven't found a way to go through it either. They're struggling with the positional disadvantage that losing the first fight can really give you on this map. You have to come out of a choke here. We'll see if they can touch.
May end quick if they don't. Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say may end quick if they don't touch. And
just a bizarre time to pause the game, to be honest. Could just wait the half second.
Yeah. And
here we are.
Obviously, if you're Boston, who ended up having to use the pause, it isn't a great time for it to happen to you, right? Where that type of situation occurs. But it all comes down to one more map. As Boston is played all Orisa comps here, at least to kick things off on Busan. The Titans now potentially going back to a Wrecking Ball of their own, like they did on the first point, but it looks like potentially a Wrecking Ball with a Sombra Tracer instead of the 76.
All right, Sim TPs to start us off. We're definitely not going to see anyone stick to those. Dalton's Tracer again is something to look out for. Huge in that last round by taking out both DPS in the first fight. Basically gives the Titans a yellow brick road to victory. I'm37 just gets flattened here.
This is actually, this is a better composition for the Titans by a mile. What you had with the ball and the Tracer without the Sombra, right? is like you don't have enough burst damage to take somebody down and like focus them, because the 76 a lot of the times was, you know, trying to shoot into the shields and like off angles. This for the Titans, get past the shield, get a Discord down, you know, focus down one target. As you see a hack trying to come through, but Myungbong dead instantly.
I mean, I'm37's just sat there. He's like, oh, look, I'll hack him. I'll hack him once he touches the ground. No worries. Yeah, you just lost 2 players, mate.
Rob just kicks that 37 in the face on the way out. So now you lose Punk. Is the Titans these last 2 points have looked really good. Now you're starting to get into a little bit of a groove. You see the Uprising are now kind of searching for their own answers and how to combat this.
And it seems as if the Uprising feel locked into a pretty similar approach here, playing from this far side of the map. Chunksik just sits up there on that ledge, and he drops down when he has to. Here's an EMP on I'm37 and Stan 1 and Valentine. I think Punk also affected here. Immortality Fuel was able to be used. Him keeping Stan 1 alive is crucial, and that's not going to be an option now with the Pulse Bomb connecting. That's a double Pulse Bomb for Dalton, by the way. Cross it out.
That was on the thing. We're doing it.
We have breadsticks, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it. In map number 1 of this series, we've achieved that carbohydrate-loaded goodness. Just allow the aroma of their fantastic leavened dough to reach your nostrils, tantalize your olfactory nerves. Get yourself some breadsticks.
Just end the series now?
It's done, Matt.
we just end the match.
Well, I never thought I'd get emotional at this point in the series, but here we are. Still, 82% on the clock.
They have to win now. Well, they don't have to win, but it'd be nice if they won.
Vancouver looking carved up, absolutely vascular, bordering on brolic, Matthew, but they've lost 2 to Myungbong early. The Uprising are mad. They come back to the point here, and they're in control. They need to hold the Titans off, but again, do they even really care? They're munching down on some goodness.
I mean, I'm sure the players are unaware that they have achieved breadsticks.
No, there's no way that you don't get someone to tap you on the shoulder mid-team fight and tell you that, Matt.
I mean, I'm not so sure if anyone's even allowed to talk to the mid-team.
Get him out of the oven!
I'm pretty sure that would be against our rules. You do have an EMP here available for the Titans. You also have a self-destruct here as well with like a stationary team. Maybe you can actually get something out of the self-destruct.
Okay, so Supercharger goes first. I mean, while Dalton's getting rid of it though, they lose Linkser. Another brilliant Pulse Bomb though. His Trace has just been sick so far this map. But Punk's going to be able to shut him down. And that'll be another Boston Uprising fight. Dalton needs a little bit of help.
All right, so now Boston gains control. I think a lot of what was trying to happen in that fight probably would have been around Linkser's EMP, but the Supercharger seems to kind of ruin all plans for that. So let's see if Linkser now, who's behind enemy lines, communicating to the team, trying to figure out what they want to go for. Valentine trying to hide here so you can get that tac visor off after. Ooh, no translocator for Linkser. They're going to have to wait.
I'm 37. Going to be able to get out there pretty comfortably. Reset here. Okay, Air Matrix used on the high ground. Myungbong, I mean, classic Myungbong play. Immortality fielding himself. I like that, but he gets knocked off. Fried Wiener gets himself 3. Really showing us that upper crust gameplay, and for Boston, things just went horribly awry.
But Boston's going to have another attempt at this. You're going to have Stan 1, switch over. Oh my god, wait, Linkser takes out I'm37 here towards the end. That's an EMP. Like, you're going to have to touch and get on the point before you even have that back to kick off the next fight.
We are in overtime here. Fried Rena in a bun. That's a hot dog, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go down here. Dalton, okay, I'm going to pick off the Baptiste here, and I'm37 might have a chance to get value out of this. EMP is so far away from the fight. He gets there, but is it too late? Fire already had the rally in play. I'm37 goes down to Linkser. Punk trying to stand up, but he cannot. And the Vancouver Titans, does it get any better than this? Bread and a map win coming at you right at the beginning of this series.
And I do not like the compositions that we're seeing out of the Boston Uprising. I think they're able to play at an aggressive pace and really make it tough for the Titans, but they're just not doing so. They're playing these Orisa-based compositions, and the Titans playing fast, taking advantage of it.
Matthew, you bred my mind. The Vancouver Titans are looking much nicer today with the ball composition. Trust me, the rest of this series is going to pop off, so stick around and see what the Titans can make happen.
Oh my gosh, could you ask for a better start? We get the breadsticks as the casters, I'm sure you all heard mentioned, which is, at this point, I thought they were just a pipe dream. I thought this is why breadsticks actually exist, but here they are. So that's cool to see. And then also, after that first point, I was getting ready to talk about, like, wow, this ball comp looks really bad. I don't know why Changsik was sticking on Hammond for so long, because that first point on Busan, they looked bad, but the other two, much like a completely different team there. They looked pretty great there. So what I did like was Changsik's Hammond on the third point there was looking very good. The initial engage, I think he got like 3 picks, got a bunch of that. So really, as good of a start as you could ask for Vancouver Titans. That break seems to have done them good. Dalton also seemed like he was absolutely beasting right now, which really he's been all split. Like, I think him and Terry were definitely the bright. Not that Linkster did bad there either, but the amount of pulse bomb kills and just the amount of impact that Dalton was having was pretty crazy. So, really good to see start for them. Next map, it looks like we're going into is Havana. So you'll 100% see some sniper being played. The fact that Ashe is banned, you'll definitely see Widow then. Because sometimes teams will run Ashe instead of Widow, but I fully expect to see Widow played at some point on Havana, and that'll almost certainly be Linkster. So his Widow has been pretty good all season. He's one of those players where if he's feeling it on a certain day, he can go toe-to-toe against anyone and beat anyone. And the fact that they started out good winning that first map, I think he'll be feeling confident and going strong in Havana. But man, we got some breadsticks. There should be a code in the chat somewhere. There's sometimes we have this stream will be posted, or in a second it should actually be there. And then also, unfortunately, it is only applicable to Canada. You know, this is the Vancouver Titans. So even though I myself am American, I will buy some breadsticks myself in celebration. But any of my Canadian viewers out there, feel free to acquire those breadsticks. But cool to see. Like I said, Havana. Honestly, I think it favors Vancouver Titans again. Not that like Boston doesn't have like a good Widow or anything else, also, but I don't know. Vancouver coming out. I think everything's coming together. The breadsticks they come out with, the first map win. I could see this definitely being the first win of the series or of the season for Vancouver, but still a lot of Overwatch left to play. And yes, indeed, the Manster. I've made my disdain towards Havana very known on my stream plenty of times. Havana, at OWL level, it's not as bad, because at OWL level, you're guaranteed to have an OWL level Widow, pretty much. But in ranked or other things, if like you're playing like in an OWL level game and their team has some OWL player and you got some random ranked player, it's rough. Havana can be rough, but and there it is on screen. I don't know if we can get those the breadstick graphic flowing again. I'm not sure if production's able to toss that thing back in. I was kind of digging that, but let me see if I can get those flying all over the screen for you guys. In fact, at this point, I say we just have them going the entire stream during the match, during the player interviews, just have breadsticks flying everywhere. But that's just me. Maybe that's why I'm not in production. But other than this, yeah, that was honestly like a great first match. All right, good enough. We'll have the breadsticks in chat. Those look like baguettes also. Those do not look like breadsticks, but okay, I was thinking that those were official baguettes. Yeah, whatever. All right then, yeah, I'm out of content for tweet after this first map. Really, I was so distracted by the breadsticks, but I'm looking forward to seeing another strong performance from Dalton here. I expect him to be probably have more Tracer, and then I'm curious to see whether we see some Widow or potentially some more Sombra. I could see either of those being played, but I will be back after Havana, talking about halftime. Let's make this a nice 2-0 for Vancouver. Hopefully they take this one.
The series sort of began, but it started to look pretty average. The Wrecking Ball of Changsik really got enabled, I think, by the map, especially in that third round here, and he was just pounding them over and over.
Just with the 76 at the start, it was tragic, right?
Yeah.
You know, you weren't really getting much out of the soldier. You weren't able to, burn down the shield in time. You were also low on damage output compared to them. where if you're going to play the ball and you're going to play Tracer, you want to try and finish off these kills quite quickly. That's kind of how you win these fights. Discord on a target, dive on, and then finish them off pretty fast. Where playing the 76 at range doesn't really help you in that regard. And I think with the Orisa shield in the mix with the Diva and things like Immortality Field makes it even harder.
Different story over here, though.
Yep, we'll see the Titans on offense first. Havana is interesting because you can play a lot of different things here, I believe. And Boston, at least so far, looking like they're going to opt to play the Orisa defense. 76 with a Torb. So they tried this a little bit on that first map, and it didn't work out too well.
No, I just think maybe Boston just don't want to match the Tracer. They don't want to play a Wrecking Ball comp, even though... I mean, Johnny was gassing Stand 1 up after last week, especially.
Yeah,
you thought he played really well.
On the ball, has been playing really well. Yeah, no, he has been playing really well on the ball. Maybe it is something where Boston kind of looks at it and says, like, well, we maybe can't contend or, play the ball at the same hype level as, like, some of the top teams, so we want to try and go a different route with it, right? Take a different approach to the meta, maybe play a little bit safer, try and force the other team into mistakes, take these long, drawn-out fights where they have a overall damage output advantage. That seems to be kind of the game plan here.
All right, well, Valentine needs to get Valley because Dalton seemed pretty unperturbed by the Torbjorn turret for most of Busan. He just killed it, he blew it up, then he went somewhere else, got healed up, and then was back in the fight pretty quickly. The Uprising want to move up here. They realize they've started to break some of these shields down, and this is what this comp is designed to do. You outlast in the neutral fight, then you start taking space behind that Orisa shield.
Yep. And they notice that the supports are over towards that right. Inside the bar area, they push straight on through, and you can't get in there to react, for Changsik and FRD to be able to save them. So you've got a lot of payload progress here for the Titans. All this space.
Yeah, eventually they're going to have to really commit. That's a nice hold, though. That held Changsik in place. He couldn't escape, and Dalton, well, I talked about him in Torbjorn turrets. This time, Valentine actually getting some value in that Tracer matchup. Good result for Boston. Now they can re-establish that corner, Matthew.
Yep. They're going to push on through, take out a few players. As this is going to be also a little bit more of a difficult spot for them to push. The payload progress is good, but just think about like the point of the map they have to go through. Like Torbjorn's turret is going to hit you from just about every angle. Wide open space that the ball is going to have to get into to make an impact. Good chance getting hacked, bashed, all different types of stuff. Supercharger here out first. Just going to buy some time here.
That's the EMP. Dalton has a pulse as well. You've got to imagine that combination is a guaranteed kill. But Myeonbong has a really nice Amp Matrix positioning. Means he'd have so much healing if there was an EMP that came down.
Well, so they EMP'd, and that ended up forcing out Amp Matrix Rally, Supercharger, and now they just push forward with their own Transcendence and Rally.
It's crazy how often teams are doing that right now. They take position with Transcendence. It lets them play super aggressive in that Pulse Bomb. Dalton's patience is paid off. He's able to get Valentine with that kill. Absolutely worthwhile. And eventually the Titans break over the Uprising here. This Orisa comp will be sent back to square one.
The EMP doesn't necessarily win the fight at that moment, but it kind of does in the end. Because you trade the EMP for both support ults on the other side of things, and even with, Molten Core and the Attack Visor, the Transcendence and the Rally is just too much. The Titans just use those ultimates and just push on through and take that first point.
It's not subtle, but again, the Boston Uprising composition with Zenyatta would do the same thing. They would take space behind Transcendence and let their Orisa play forward if they had it.
And you have a very smart player here with Linkser who knows, hey, if I stay safe and farm up EMP, no matter if they're playing this bunker comp or not, eventually we will have the advantage.
They're trapped in here.
Yeah.
That minefield now, especially with mines not sticking to walls, it's hard to get out of that room if you're Uprising. They're going to go for it though, and the self-destruct catches Rolf of all people. Triwina looks like he's been more impressed. He'll move the cart up a little bit here, but another classic Dalton Pulse Bomb connection on Faith is... I mean, the guy is giving you everything you could ask for from your Tracer, Matt. And the rest of the Titans reciprocate.
Titans are going to keep the cart rolling. Stand 1 here, dies towards the end. I got to think, if you're Boston, you got to be contemplating just big changes here. Try and
how do you stop
swap
Dalton?
things in your favor. I mean, you're already playing the tour. Do you try and play McCree?
There's no
McCree, though,
way.
then becomes like a dive target. Yeah, I mean, big EMP from Linkser. This forces them back. Rally in the mix here for the Titans is they're getting really close to getting the payload over the line.
Attack visor here as well could be scary. Transcendence has to be popped. Good response from Rolf. It's proportional and appropriate. He's at a good map right now on Zenyatta. I'm 37 as a drop onto the car, but it's the blue goo. And it's going to stand in the way of the Titans. And they can't do much about that. They have to back off. Lisa Doom, shut down early.
Yeah, I think the Doom switch was if the fight went a little bit longer. I think we'll see Linkser swap back to potentially
It's brutal against the
Sombra
Tor.
again. Yeah, I know. I mean, you're not going to play Doom in the Tor, but good payload progress here for the Titans yet again. All ultimates really had to be expended there for the Uprising to be able to hold on to it. I know Minefield here with a self-destruct forces positioning to where maybe you get a pick-off or two. Changsa can actually force them back to the cart. You can actually lob the self-destruct in over the back if you want it. Cart's moving. They're going to get back in contest.
Okay, I'm 37. If they're able to respond, Changsik in mid-air is taken down. I'm 37 had the extra damage, but I mean, he definitely wasn't accounting for the lion's share of it. And now the Titans look pretty rudderless without that Wrecking Ball in play. Link's trying to tickle a little bit on this Sombra, but the ultimate for him having the EMP in time aren't great.
No, it's got to be a pulse bomb here and a big self-destruct for the Titans.
All of them. I put my, if I was betting man, which I'm not, I'd put my money on him to make impact here.
Up. Yeah.
Chunksig booped away, Cartwheel move, self-destruct. Oh, it claims Faith. He doesn't even need to get an EMP. In fact, the pulse bomb is superfluous at this point. Another tactical visor. Dalton just keeps his head down for the time being. Ton of damage here for M37. Myeonbong very selfless, giving that over. But now he's got to contest 1v3. I think on the high ground is Myeonbong, but I mean, what do you do? It's the Torbjorn, rather. He goes down. Some heroics from individuals there, but it's not enough. The Titans have the team play, but the Diva's back. Fate's here as well. Riley's going to be popped. No, no! They had an opportunity, surely, but now the respawns come back in and the mobility helps Punk return to the fray awfully quick. Oh, Changsik gets tiny violins for the Wrecking Ball as he cannot touch the cart. And Fire also pulls up short.
That's a tough one for the Titans. That's a point that they probably should have been able to secure and keep it moving. And you had like 90-something% on the EMP and Transcendence there towards the end. Still, this is I will say this is a tough point to capture for a team. So potentially you're able to still hold on defense. It's not like Boston set a tremendous defense on their first point, right? So maybe you can make something happen here.
It's a heartbreaker though. Vancouver looked like they had the paradigm of Wrecking Ball versus Orisa-based compositions pretty well in hand, and Dalton is landing every pulse bomb. Still being a really high impact player. Look, the EMPs from Linkser, unfortunately, you know, he got traded in a crucial fight. He lays off the EMP, he gets blown up immediately, and kind of randomly as well by Valentine. He just peeked a corner and there's a rivet headed straight for his dome. These are things that you can't really account for, but it lets the Uprising get back into the fight. I mean, this is Faith popping Rally to stay alive in the round. Look at this. Oh, nice. You know, Josh had the audacity to try and argue with me that Faith wasn't one of the best. I think he said Dridro was better than Faith, but these guys are definitely in the conversation for top brigs in the league. This guy's insane. Yeah,
I mean, that was a sick play, right? That whip shot onto Linkser denies him getting that EMP, which could have sealed the deal.
Such a sick player. Okay, so Zen Baptiste here for the Uprising. Okay, I was going to say, my God. It would have been very aggressive poke-oriented comp that wouldn't do much against a Tracer Sombra setup. Okay, but no huge changes here for the Uprising, Matthew, in light of that.
Nope. The Titans will continue to play the Sombra with the Tracer, a dive with a Wrecking Ball, try and take advantage of this. They get a hack on a stand 1. It's going to be an Immortality field that's out early.
And it's not enough. Doesn't keep Valentine alive. Fred Winner does at least get desuited, but I think that's the price you're willing to pay if you're the Vancouver Titans. But now, maybe not so much. You got into an auction you didn't want to be in. Yunbong gets rid of the desuited Fried Winner, and Chunksy can only, stall for a brief period of time. Not great for the Titans, who wanted to start the fight up close toward the spawn or toward the cart.
And like we talked about, the longer these fights go, the better it will be for the Boston Uprising. If you're the Titans, gotta get in, get a kill or two.
Okay, he links up. Man, I love Myunbong, man. He's got attitude. He really does. Nice little two-tap there to force the translocate out. Linksa encroaching on an EMP, but again, it's another Dalton Pulse Bomb. Can he make it happen? He's 12 HP and he has a recall, but he'd hate to have to use it here. Power driver in. Oh, my chunks, it just got blown up. That is rough. The soldier there with the damage, but the stick on the brick is good. Dalton, can he do more? Right now, looks like he wants to be less aggressive and save more time, but Rolf finds Valentine. With an Amp Matrix in play, the Uprising needed more defense, less offense there, apparently.
Yeah, but the Titans, they ended up having to use Rally and their EMP there to get that done. They felt the pressure being put on them by the Boston Uprising, that Boston was getting close to breaking on through. So Changsik has to be careful, dying early in some of these fights, although it's very difficult for him to be able to play this, right, with a lot of, stun and damage potential for the Boston Uprising. But you're going to have a minefield and the Transcendence here to keep everybody up. Maybe you get aggressive behind the Transcendence.
Rolf's had good timings on this Transcendence so far, and this one also pretty darn good. Every time Attack Visor comes out, I'm37 just sits there and holds M1 and gets nothing done. A D-suit is all he'll get for that, but it just turns out to be a self-destruct remake. But a couple plays here for the Uprising still. Translocate out for Linksa, so they're sticking around to see what they can find, but they're fizzling out a little bit, the Uprising here, Matt. They spend some ultimates in that last fight.
Yes, you're going to lose Punk here towards the end. You do have some players coming back. I mean, here comes I'm37 with Myunbong. I feel like we're just staggering here. You're not going to be able to win this. I'm37 barely stays up. I mean,
oh man, Twinkle Toes out there. He's getting out of dodge. Love to see it.
We're down below a minute though, Mitch. You're going to have an EMP here for Linksa. I mean, nothing available as the Uprising just throwing like ult after ult at some of these bad fights. Pile driver here probably into an EMP for a big one.
EMP's there. It's on 4. Resuited, a good time for Friday Winner to dive back into the fray, but the follow-up wasn't there as a result.
Nothing.
So the Uprising just brushed that EMP off, and it's back to business. And business is good, Matthew. Rolf and Fire get blown up at the start of the fight. Again, good focus fire from the Uprising after an awkward start to the fight.
Well, it happens even before that. As the Linksa is EMPing, Dalton dies straight away. So you're wondering where that follow-up is. It's with that Tracer, who is dead for the Titans, where Linksa has to translocate as soon as the EMP comes out. He's not able to put any follow-up. You don't see any other damage come down. And that's how they're able to survive through that EMP.
I'm37 has to contend with the ever-present threat of Linksa. That EMP was sorely under-followed up on. There you go, that's a phrase. Lots of hyphens in there. Someone's able to get rid of Fried Winner here, though, and Rolf has the Transcendence, I think, in a little bit of a nasty fight. He does. See, the thing about Transcendence is you can't reapply your Discord orb. So it gets pulled off there. No damage boost in that fight, and Myunbong looks pretty sharp.
Yep, 2 minutes, though, for the Uprising to try and pretty much take that second checkpoint, where you can stall this out. And this turret may become an issue for the Tracer.
I mean, they don't have Transcendence for this Tac Visor. Rolf's been so good at matching that Soldier ultimate, but
you have, Punk gets Dalton again. It's 2 big fights in a row you lose Dalton. You're gonna have to rally here first.
Oh, Amp Matrix as well. Chunksi's doing the right thing here, right? Yeah, he takes up all that time by getting I'm37's face. Yeah, he goes down as a result, but better him going down than the entirety of the Titans getting wiped. They have to contest, they have to play in the open, so that could have been devastating for them. Dalton through the minefield there. Faith getting picked off, and there's another pulse bomb here. It's a stick.
When they have Dalton alive in these fights, they're able to win them. Like the last fights that they've lost, it's just been with, you know, the EMP where they had Dalton die early, and then this one where Punk got Dalton at the beginning, and then the cart kept moving. But here, under a minute on the clock, no ultimates available for Boston. EMP here for the Titans, and you're going to have Transcendence. This is very winnable for the Titans.
I'm telling you, Chunksik might have saved them by inting into I'm37 there and just making it impossible for the soldier to get like real value with that tack visor. He occupied Myeongbong and I'm37 in that moment as well, by the way. Oh no! Linksa had the EMP. Okay, he gets out with his life at the very least. But he gets spotted. Here's that EMP though. He's back in the fight as soon as he left, and Puck is blown up, but it's a trade. Linksa has to give up his life after the EMP, and it's go, go, go now for the Titans. Transcendence is in play. Immortality field used. Pile driver's there, but Chunksy gets blown up once more. Tri-Winner's looking healthy though now, and it's going to be a Molten Core. Where is it going to be used though? I'm 37 down to the minefield. Fried Wiener in a face-to-face here with Stan 1. He doesn't fancy it, but another Dalton Pulse Bomb. It's beautiful. You bloody ripper. He's found 2 kills there. 1 with the Pulse Bomb. Stan 1 going to try and hang on here against Rolf, but it's not going to be enough. Myeongbong goes for a classic Ant Matrix for himself. He can't follow up on it, and that's 2 on the trot for the Titans. There's some magic in this one, Matt.
Oh, there is. Breadsticks activated in map number 1. They get a map win in map number 2. Looking for their first win of the season. But like we talked about, you know, they played some other teams close. You know, maybe some, as much as it's like a laughable thing, maybe some confidence after getting the breadsticks, you know, getting over the hump that has really been over their head the entire season, unlocking these. Maybe it gets them that series win.
2-0 for the Titans now, looking for their first victory of the season. It's all on the table and it's all possible here. Stick around, everybody. It's going to be quite the end of this series one way or another.
Breadsticks and up 2-0. What more could you ask for? I guess a 3-0 win, but at this point, they're guaranteed, at a worst case, a map 5. This is the first time all season that I believe Vancouver Titans has won 2 maps in a series. So, cool. I was getting ready to talk about how I didn't like the Hammond pick. How, again, I was going to talk about how like it looked like he should go Orisa or something, but what a defense there. Oh my gosh. I'm still feel like they're winning some of these fights despite the Hammond, not because of it. Now, obviously they're up 2-0, so at this point you don't really want to like start switching things up. But if they say drop like the next map or 2, I would say that should be the first thing they really look at. I will say the big thing I've noticed is it looks like Vancouver's finally solved some of their EMP issues. And for a while, anytime it seemed like they ran Sombra, they just never got any value from EMP. And I think there was one at the end of first point defense where they didn't really get anything. But in general, the EMPs looked like they were getting pretty good value from them. And then, oh my god, Dalton is an absolute beast. The amount of times he stuck the Brigitte on the other team, off the charts. And Brig is supposed to be the counter to Tracer, but you can't really counter a one-shot ability like Pulse Bomb. So, insane play from Dalton with those Pulse Bombs. Really, overall, like, where was this Vancouver Titans all season? It feels like I've talked about how they've always had potential, and I'm sure people are like, sure, Harb, you're just saying that because, you know, blah, blah, blah. But legitimately, they've always had, like, talented players. It's just never seemed like they've been able to, like, put it together and convert it into map wins. Now, obviously, this series isn't won yet, but being up 2-0 is a very good spot to be in. And going into Hanamura, a 2 CP map, if they start out on defense and just get like a good, strong defense to start with, you know, that could be the series right there. Now, I'm not going to call it 3-0 yet, but I'm sure Boston's a little bit mentally boomed after those last 2 maps. Because really, both maps, Boston could have taken them. And normally that's the position Vancouver Titans have been in, where they play the maps close, but just like a fight or 2 doesn't go their way, and they end up just dropping the map. So really, to be able to see them close it out is super cool to see. And I heard from one of my production members who's there at the actual venue, they could hear Fried Wiener scream pretty loud at the end of that map. So it definitely sounds like the players are hyped and excited on that. So, which I love to hear. Like, when you've had a rough season, you know, just having like match be able to win it can be like such a good like spirit lifter. So I'm happy for Vancouver Titans right now. Now again, match isn't one. They've struggled on attacks on Hanamura all throughout the season. Like, the amount of times I've seen them full held or held on last on Hanamura, I've completely tried to block it from my memory. But this is a new Vancouver Titans. These are the Breadsticks Titans, or Vancouver Breadsticks. Whatever the Twitter says, they changed it or something. But new and improved. But yeah, normally this is a map where I've said May has always been like a great pick on it, and Teru has always been like their god May player. And you might still see May play here some, but I would expect to see maybe just more Sombra Tracer. 100% you're going to see Dalton on Tracer. Unless they have some specific comp they've made for Hanamura, I feel like it would be a travesty to take him off Tracer with how much he's doing on that hero. The amount of like value with his pulse bombs. I don't know how Tracers could do that. I try using pulse bomb. Mine always just gets stuck on the wall or something, but cool to see some good value from it. But other than that, though, I'm excited for this last one. So I don't think I have anything else to say, though. I'm just stumbling over my words now. But I think we'll throw it back. The map should be starting any moment now. And I will be back after Hanamura, hopefully to talk about the series win. Hopefully to wrap it up here. But if not, you know, we're up 2-0. So worst case scenario, plenty of more Overwatch to be played still. But I will be back after Hanamura.
Even though the score is like 2-0, you can kind of feel it slipping away. Where I think that you kind of have this scenario here. You know, the Breadsticks hype, as much of a meme that it is. You know, everybody kind of like rallying around this Titan squad. It's a lot of pressure on the Boston Uprising, which the Boston Uprising had been in that position before. Obviously, none of these players were on the team at that time. I don't think any of them were, but they were the first team to lose to the Shanghai Dragons, right? When the Shanghai Dragons did not have a win for the whole first season into this part of the second season, the Boston Uprising were the team that lost there. The Titans not on like a historic losing streak like that. Although, I mean, I guess, a losing streak like, 12 games is pretty bad, but, not 40 games. And still, though, I think Boston has to be feeling that pressure.
Absolutely. They wouldn't say it, but they know what's on the line. They know exactly what this match means and how Matt broke things down. That pulse bomb attach rate that's got to put him up at number one. He was tied for third already. 62%, really good looks for him. It felt like every pulse bomb had high impact. And we're not even talking about the amount of kills we got from it. So 3.7 per 10. Again, it's that 11.4 final blows per 10. No, that's really notable. Again, he's starting to get it. He's really getting into the stratosphere in terms of his overall impact. And look, let's be honest, Linkser, his EMPs are getting punished. He's getting EMPs off, but he's often dying straight away after that. Dalton, though, is really able to combine quite nicely with that play in general with the Sombra here. And even when there's no EMP, he's able to get Faith more times than not in many of these situations. And his follow-up looks really good. This guy's very talented. He really made waves, especially in the Tier 2 scene on this particular hero. But now to see him take flight here, it definitely seems fitting.
Yeah, and I think as we move into the next map, what do you do if you're Boston? Do you commit to keep playing this Orisa-based composition? Do we have anything with a Pharah? Do we have a ball that we could bring out? Like, what's going on here for Boston? As clearly, it's not exactly working as planned. Maybe they felt like the Titans were going to come in and just be so disjointed in terms of their dive and aggressive play that they could take advantage with slower base kind of compositions with a Torbjorn and 76, which we've seen a lot of today. But they've not been able to do that. Even when there's non-EMPs in fights, it does not seem like Boston is able to take advantage of it. And even if they are, they're only like a fight away from an EMP coming because you have
think of I'm 37, right? I'm 37 can't even use the Amp Matrix to get attacked by value. Yeah, he kills a Wrecking Ball, so what? I mean, Chunksic occupies those two players, those two very high damage individuals in that moment, and really allows a lot of time to be bought for the Titans. We've got a PC restart here, so we're going to be back after a short break and see if the Titans can indeed snap their loss streak up against the Boston Uprising. Don't go anywhere.
마이크 체크부터 하자. 불러라.
예.
또
에.
약풍.
예.
레디 치자.
쪼낙. 쪼낙 말해봐. 네. 어?
네.
어? 쪼낙 말해봐.
네.
어? 뭐야 방금 데이 소리였는데?
여러분 나이스 조인 로비.
조인 로비. 오케이.
Okay, let's do our max first. Okay, Naga.
Carry me,
Okay, done.
carry.
Oh, do it again without like.
넷시?
이거는 몇 시?
3시. 3시. 왜 3시에?
원래 그쯤에.
I love Sangman Mercy.
You know my mercy?
Yeah, so good and tasty.
대박.
예, 열린 마이크 노리는 거야? 여기 부르르 거려?
긴장하면 해석하겠습니다.
누가 봐도 열린 마이크 노리는
혹시
거
뭐
같은데?
K-pop 스타 이런 거 나오는
이런
거야?
것도 열린 마이크 잡혀? 야 정말 시작하자마자 내가 볼 땐 저 레디 치는 순간부터 약간 오픈 마이크 온이야.
아, 계속 녹음 될걸? 그러니까 계속
맞아.
녹음 녹화되고 이제 그 영상 편집 해주시는 쪽에서 괜찮아 보이는 것들 이렇게 올리시는 거야. 욕 안 할수록 올라갈 가능성이 좀 더 커.
올라갈 수 없네요.
Guys, we have to beat up Piggy's best friend. For real. No mercy.
We have to make him cry.
You were right, oh, you were right. You were right here all the time.
Please give me all final blows, okay?
You want deadlift? For a deadlift?
Hey, who's bleeding?
I heard it too.
Oh.
Wait, yeah, you guys aren't allowed to breathe actually.
Everybody
My
hold your
bad.
breath till the match is over.
Do you think we're gonna be in the next comms track?
They never put us in.
The last one they made wasn't funny. They were just talking.
Yeah.
Hey, Colex, how long do you think it's gonna take for you to join the lobby?
Not long at all, sorry.
Okay.
큐시.
Sorry!
Hey guys, chill out. He's our teammate. Chill out.
Just calm down, okay?
큐시.
I believe you, Kelsey. Come
Leave
in.
me alone, yeah.
Take your time.
No, I don't take my time. I'll be there soon, okay?
Yeah, man.
겁나 좋아.
미친놈이다. 래퍼다 래퍼. 이게 래퍼가 아니라 약간 비트인데 그냥. 야 비트 지리다 너거나.
Thanks for staying with us for that short break here. It looks like the Titans have everything sorted, and fair enough, because when you finally get to sample the fabled breadsticks, you don't just devour them, you know, like you're incarcerated. No, you nibble at them, you savor them, every single bite. And there's a chance here, of course, for the Titans to have more to savor than just carbohydrate goodness, Matthew. There's a chance for them to have a series win. I mean, a sweep that would be astonishing here, but they're looking like the better team today here. And the Boston Uprising need to come up with an answer, and real quick.
I don't think you've ever had breadsticks before. You usually just munch on them and just finish them off and move on.
When you get when you get to eat carbs, mate, once, I don't know, every couple weeks, you definitely take your time.
Oh, true. Teru. Yeah, if that's what you believe. Teru, he'll come in here for the Titans here. We were wondering, like, when we would see him in this series. I know, was he going to make it through the reinforced curse? I mean, this is the ultimate test, you know. The Titans on the brink of winning bring in a player who's been under the reinforced curse. Maybe to play some... Ooh, I was going to say Pharah. So we'll see the Pharah pick here, potentially for the Titans. So the Uprising stay with this again on D. They'll come out with this. I mean, they are very confident in being able to, I guess, kind of start to get these wins with the 76 tour. We'll see if they're able to turn it around.
I mean, look, they're definitely committed to this course of action. They have some contingency against Pharah play. Linkser obviously historically has played a bunch of Pharah as well, but Teru comes in here specifically to fill that role. Now, I'm interested to see what the flash support choice is here for the Titans, Matt. That would fascinate me.
I also wonder if you stay on this, like, maybe just gonna keep putting pressure on to.
Well, what's there to put you off of it, really? Is it the soldier? Like, what makes you not want to do this, Teru?
I mean, I think the fact that you've been able to win consistently with Tracer and Sombra, you know, would probably give you some kind of caution to maybe go back to it if this doesn't work. But Chongsick able to put some pressure on the point. Teru's actually gotten a really good position on the Pharah.
Now look, the Titans don't overcommit into that immortality field either. They take their time, and Teru, okay, just rains rockets down. Nicely done. I mean, he picks off the Torb turret at long range. That lets him set up wherever he wants to. And the Vancouver Titans, yeah, they definitely look like mentally, they're very comfortable.
I mean, yes, and I would say that Boston mentally looks boom. They have not been able to figure anything out. You have a nano here for Teru. Get up to the high ground, put down some big rockets, some big damage, and you may be able to take the second point relatively fast.
All right, Teru to the high ground now with the nano boost. Still takes a bunch of damage and still needs to respect the output of the Uprising. Okay, using the nano boost or to work on the turret maybe. He knows there's a supercharger below him. But there's also a Diva on the hunt for Pharah.
Positioning's good, though.
It's safe too, Matt. Can play from here if he wants to. The Torb turret gets deployed. Cloudy with a chance of justice. Valentine loses his turret. And Dalton is doing work on this Hanzo, this guy. So many looks. The Dragon Strike is going to be scary now as all of the Uprising are going to have to walk back into their spawn. No ticks yet for the Titans. They're taking it slow and steady here, though. And there's a lot of pressure on Stan 1. He needs the Immortality Field, but it doesn't last very long at all. Minefield on the point now. Punk does a good job knocking Chunksick away. But eventually there's going to be a cap here from the Titans. And Punk is desuited and cannot help.
So that's going to be 1 tick. Getting close to another tick.
Stan 1.
They're going to get a touch. Oh, I mean, this does not look good, though. I mean, they're not going to last
it's
for long.
awful!
Yeah.
Stan 1 living up to his name because he is well and truly alone here on the point. Punk can be able to step in a little bit later, but it's just 1s and 2s. That's all that the Uprising can do, but they're not getting on a Noah's Ark. They're trying to contest the points. And that's it. The Vancouver Titans with 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Perhaps today, Matt, it's just meant to be.
What is, I mean, this has been a tremendous performance now from the Titans. But how long does Boston have to run the same comp to figure out that it's not going to work?
Initiating.
I mean, we've now seen it over 3 maps.
About 5 more minutes at most.
I mean, I get that, like, there's a, you know, maybe you practice certain things right and you end up in a spot where, you know, this is what you've practiced on this map, this is what you're going to run. But at some point you need to kind of have a little bit of room where, okay, like, it's not working. Like, what do we need to do? Like, where do we pivot to? What do we go to? And maybe they've had success running this against other teams who are running this type of comp, but eventually you have to kind of make a concession and make a change, right?
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Apparently not. At least not so far as the series is concerned. We've never seen the, look, the Orisa setup, I get it for the Uprising. They're showing us some good looks with it here. And the Titans are tech for this matchup. They bring Teru in for the Pharah. They know they can have constant shield pressure. Dalton's Hanzo. My guy's just hitting. That is, I mean, okay. He is just hitting. This Dragon Strike, while that doesn't get a kill, it forces him into spawn. It really, it's an avalanche. It's not a snowball.
All right, so now potentially we see the ball compositions here for Boston. What are they going to play with it?
Waiting for the call.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're going back to the spawn. Yeah, no, they're going to switch. We're going to see this again. Which I almost kind of thought we would see the change when, you know, you would not play Wrecking Ball with Batiste. I mean, it's not really a reason to. They're going to come in and see if they can try and get Chongsick, but, you know, big pile driver, damage coming down. It's going to be hard.
Teru's distorted right now. Valentine overcharged himself and didn't have much to shoot at. He can redeploy the turret here. Teru, okay. Good timing. Really respects the damage. Fire stuck to him like glue. And that's the Immortality Field now removed. Punk definitely looking for a way to access Teru.
Big bio
grenade. Rolled him back the years.
Mitch, there's no Lucio in this hero pool. Like you see how slow they're going through the choke. Like, they dropped the Discord down, right? And they're relying on that damage coming through, but you're playing against a Pharah Wrecking Ball, who the Pharah is able to just spam rockets in the choke. The Wrecking Ball able to just... Chongsick's never in any type of danger. He's able to go in, pile drive, but they're walking in, biotic grenades, because Punk has used all his Matrix to get them through the choke. Yeah, I mean, it is... I don't know if it's a good call here.
Punk pile drive, but only has eyes for the bird. Chongsick taken down. It's going to be an auto boost to Teru. Oh my! That is filthy. 3 from the barrage here, and the cleanup is undeniable from the Boston Uprising. Punk is just heading for the nearest cliff ledge to try and expedite the process because the Uprising get back to the the drawing board.
The storyboard?
Storyboard? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when you write something out before it gets enacted? Yeah, that thing.
I mean, what they
I don't want to see. I feel like I know what it could look like. You know?
They help write the hello.
Chongsick. Okay.
All right.
Minefield got deployed and they killed 37. So there is that. That is going to slow He's going to slow the Uprising down to the gate.
I'm so confused what that was.
Okay, Transcendence is here. Okay.
Come on, man. Like, bro, like, all right.
There's no way to get this. Rez on Rule Fury's back in the fight. Faithful's foul of a pulse bomb. And the Uprising are going to get rounded up once more.
Like I'm on an episode of like Punk'd or something like that. Like Ashton Kutcher's about to just walk into my room. Like, I mean, he was just sitting there behind the Zen for like.
This is your brain on Overwatch.
Oh, so now we go double hit scan. So now we get McCree in the mix, and then we got a break, right? Yeah. So now a break to maybe I guess stop Chongsick from coming in, and maybe the Tracer and another hit scan to try and shoot at Daru.
Chongsick gets
nice
away. Yeah, Dalton not nearly as lucky. I'm 37, still sharp on the hit scan, and there it is. Punk finally getting his anti-air chops. Teru gonna be res though. Still a chance. Well, no, they're out of position. Yeah, Chongsick a little bit too far away.
Wait, they nanoed?
They might have. Just ignore that.
But you can switch off.
Hey, look into this. Look into this flash for a second, real quick.
Why are they fighting here? What is this fight? All right, everybody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. We're gonna. Yep. Well, I mean, you're gonna have FRD has to jump off the side. Okay, so you'll have FRD maybe back by the time the next one kicks off.
Okay, I'm convinced this is a practical joke. Teru there tries for the barrage, but again, can't really bet on the Ant Matrix not being there, and just gets thrown up. Don goes down, so no DPS left here for the Titans. They need to move into full defense mode right now, and they are in, they're in disarray. Okay, Rolf in the back right corner, you can see him there. Teru, I mean, tough to touch the point against a soldier like this, and good work, Chongsick. Shutting down soldier play is something he's done very well, but he's not really able to put Valentine to bed, so to speak. And that will be a Boston Uprising point take.
I feel like the Titans beefed that a bit. I think when like they went back and fought there towards the end, you know, losing FRD to, outside of like the window where you get that fast spawn, they had to wait for him. You gave a big advantage. Teru with that kind of solo off to the angle barrage didn't really get anything. But you still have a 2-minute advantage here. Now, are you worried about them playing the double hit scan, maybe trying to roll through the choke again? Is that something you are you're worried about? Maybe that would deter you from playing the Pharah and the ball and stuff, but no, it looks like the Titans on defense going to commit to that.
I mean, this meta seems so good for them. Chongsick on the Wrecking Ball is having legitimate impact. We saw that, I mean, as early as map number 1. Dalton's Tracer is primo, and Teru on the Pharah gives them another element that the Uprising had to switch to double hit scan to really try and answer.
You're in a spot here for the Titans where you win one fight here with how long it kind of takes to develop here at the choke. You feel like you're in a pretty good spot. I can't imagine Boston going to, I mean, this would just be, like if they went to the ball now, I mean, this would be a little bit too late of a switch, but see, you can play ball, you can play this with a, no, they're going to spawn. I mean, you're not going to play the ball with Batiste. Yeah, you're going to have Stanwon go back. Yeah, double hit scan again. So that'll be what we go with here for the Boston Uprising.
Yep. Makes sense as the variation here. It does answer, I think, the Tracer threat all more efficiently as well. The Torb is kind of bizarre, all right, against the Pharah. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Chongsick obviously waiting in the wings there. Huge biotic grenade from Rolf. What a great look from him this series has been. Everybody on the Titans is just purring along like a well-oiled machine. Where Valentine and Faith get picked out early, so we mentioned that one fight, Matt, already. 40 seconds goes bye-bye.
Yep. And you're going to be in position here to farm up the Nano, right? You get a Nano on the Teru, you think that's another fight win. You're not giving the Boston Uprising an opportunity to build up some ultimates of their own. So I think this double hit scan thing becomes an issue for the Titans if we get to the second point. Probably not as much now. Chongsick, okay, there it is. Pile drive in.
That's Nano. Teru. What's the weather report, Custer? Bust out a moustache for this one. Okay, so he respects the Ant Matrix enough to back away. He'll play this corner for now. When he
over the top.
Over the top. Okay, when does he go for it though? He left Chongsick hanging. Punk just wards him off. There's a concussive blast here. I'm 37's waiting for it. So there it is. Looks like the defense matrix wasn't really there in time for Pride Wiener. Teru goes down.
I think what he could have done with the barrage there, I think it needed to probably be a little bit more decisive. You know, when Chongsik goes in, even when you lose him, you know, you're over the top. They didn't really have an idea that he was like above the building, potentially coming down behind them. Until he shot rockets down.
Sure.
10 seconds.
But he didn't have Punk in his face with the Matrix. But still, okay. So
Yeah,
you give us that first point. Yeah, not the worst thing in the world here for the Titans. You have only 30 seconds. You just have to get one hold. Then
it's the high ground Deadeye scary.
Yes.
Attack visor is an option. Basically, the Titans have to wall off and just run and just engage on the high ground here. They can catch like 2 or 3 players of the Uprising on their own, run in with that main wall. Supercharger thrown down. Teru not in position to do what he wants to do here. So there's a cap underway. That's one tick. Power Driver comes in. Immortality feels down now. The Ant Matrix is on the high ground with attack visor. This is scary for the Titans. They need to take cover now. And Valentine doesn't get anything with that. Another tick here. Valentine pile drove. Dalton going to get taken down by Punk, and this has gone from bad to worse for the Uprising. The double hit scan composition for Boston, rather, is working out. The Titans didn't count on this at all. They were not ready for an Uprising on the brink of defeat.
They give up the point. Like the Titans on the brink of winning their first match. I mean, dude, 4 minutes in the time bank. Dominant offense. You know, the defense looked pretty good there, you know, when they get it to 2 minutes. Boston comes up clutch, taking both points. I mean, that puts so much pressure now back on the Titans to where you get towards that second stage of the map, it may not be as easy.
Oh, man. That one is a bit of a gut punch for the Titans, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Had to go through all of this rigmarole. And in fairness, it didn't take them all that long to cap the first time around. But now, the Uprising, Matt, it's incredible. They've enlightened themselves. They've just achieved enlightenment by the passage of time, and Boston have realized that the double hit scan might be the way to answer this comp from the Titans.
Yeah, and what do they do? Do you play, I think you can play Dalton on the Hanzo. You know, use Chongsik as like a disruptor, play the Hanzo, you know, in combination with the Pharah for some big damage. Yeah, I mean, you could go. Well, you don't have Linkster in the game, right? So you would think you could maybe go back and play like Tracer Sombra. You know, you have McCree, who's like a pretty, you know, fairly easy dive target. You imagine though, you're gonna play these hit scans on off angles and try and just poke damage from the side.
Okay, Teru knows he is public enemy #1 as far as the Uprising is concerned. He's ready for it. Okay, already that shielding's taking a little bit of a battering. Looks like Teru's getting a feel for where these supports are positioned, so shouldn't be surprised. Oh my!
I was gonna say, watch out for the Hanzo as well. Just one shot onto like the, you know, McCree or 76 at range, like he just kind of jumps over the wall, lands a random headshot that gives you an advantage right away.
And the Ana damage is also a problem. She hits hard enough if everybody's focusing the same target.
We're also gonna have a nano here.
Okay, Chungsik's on the point, starting to give that a tickle. The Titans, I understand, they want to take their time, but do they really want this map to end in a draw? I should feel no. Nano boost available here for Rolf. Maybe Teru gets that one here. He does. Short pause to bio oneself, and look at this. All the King's Horses come to the rescue for the Uprising, and they have an Immortality field, and Ant Matrix is there. Teru will have to settle for a really sharp angle and some poke damage. You've got to go for this. He had no choice, really. Teru's going to be able to survive that one. On 37's gone down. So the Titans go up a gear back. They get aggressive. And they found both hit scans. Now Teru can live large.
Yeah, they got to cap this point, though. The point's still being contested here by stand 1. You know, great that they're pushing through, pick up these kills, but still, just more time being dwindled off the clock here by the Uprising.
The Titans, though, increasing their chances of having some time left at the end of this half with a cap here. Obviously, they get a nominal increase of 30 seconds, so that still leaves them with more than 2.5 minutes to work with. The question is, do their ultimates move the needle here against 2 potential hit scan ultimates and supercharge?
I mean, you could drag in the high ground, right? Nano the Pharah, drag in the high ground. that would be enough, I think, to really make a big impact. So you see Dalton lining it up. Here's going to be the Dragon. They got the Nano onto the far as well.
Single most important fight of the season for the Titans, and it starts well. Stand 1 is down to the Storm Arrows, and Valentine's trying to make the attack work from the corner, but again, Chunksick gets in his face. It's not enough to shut him down entirely. Valentine stifled somewhat, but at least Friedwiener out on the point here has to unmech. Chunksick very, very low though, but Friedwiener's going to be brought back into the fight. It's at the cost of the Mercy though, and there's really not enough for the Titans to work with. They've got to back off and try again. Teru surely doesn't go for this.
He's going to switch. I think that's why. I don't think you probably play the Pharah yet again. You're going to have a swap here. Fire's going to play the Break. You're going to play the Mei. So, what is Rolf going to play? Is he actually? He could play Matisse probably. Yeah, play Matisse. So, going to go with a little bit of a slower composition. As we're going to have change it up for the Boston Uprising. They're going to play the Torb plus the Hanzo. So they're going to have an advantage in terms of the shield break, having the Torb in the mix. But can you kind of catch somebody with a Mei wall and push on through? You have another Dragon. They may not expect this, actually.
Dalton knows he will either force them to drop down here. So this will give... Oh, okay. Oh, the wall! What? It's beautiful from Teru! There is no way the Uprising were getting past that. I guess their watch has ended, Matthew. Chunksick now going to set up on the point. There's a supercharger in play. But Faith is going to get ruined by fire. The whip shot hits true. And now Valentine gets halted out into the open. Going to be tough to escape here, but it's going to be an amplification matrix in the back right corner of the point here. Halt thrown out. Yumbong can't be pulled ahead of his window though, and now they're going to do a stand 1. The Mei wall sections them off perfectly. Faith going to try and step up onto the point. 40 seconds left in the round. Here's an amp matrix now from Rolf. This is going to force the Uprising to stay behind the wall for the time being, but they've got time to work with here. Wall's going down. That's big from Valentine. Comes in on the Doomfist. Can he do any more? It's Dalton that actually shuts him down, and now the Wrecking Ball play from stand 1. We've hardly seen it all series, and now it's going to be the time for him to try and stall with it. He's going to get frozen. There's no doubt about it. He's off the point, and now Punk's going to step up. 13 seconds left to work with here. Punk going to be desuited. Again, the Doomfist trying to get to the point. Friedwiener keeps him away. The punch lands though on a Teru, knocks him back only a small amount, and the Blizzard thrown down in the right-hand corner. Both teams get a time extension. 2 seconds separate them.
I mean, this is one where this is going so down to the wire. I mean, 2 seconds advantage here for the Titans. But mind you, the Titans had a 2-minute advantage going into OT as Boston really battled it back. I know Boston did a great job there towards the end of rotating onto the point, whether it be the Diva, the Ball, the Doomfist, everybody kind of taking turns, touching, contesting, dwindling that clock down.
Again, before we get too excited about any potential results here, quite often we get draws in these situations, right? Only a minute for the attacking teams here. The Uprising have to attack first, so the Titans have the quote-unquote luxury of beginning on defense here. And is this where we get anything special? It looks like that they don't want to play the defensive Pharah, so this is a mix-up for sure. Teru on the Mei, I mean, it's been a good pick for him all season long. This guy is an incredible DPS player.
I think, though, we'll see a different comp here. Like, I don't think they'll play double hit scan into the Mei, right? I fully expect to see something different. We can take a look at this replay. I imagine what we're about to see is the wall from Teru.
It's unreal. Halt, Dragon, wall.
That was nice.
There is no escape from that. Beautiful.
Cease your resistance.
All right, here we go. The Uprising on the attack. They'll scout, use 15 seconds of that time, and it's going to be the Orisa-based composition with the Torbjorn and the Kree.
How are you getting through the choke, though? Like, the Mei is going to be devastating at the choke. And also, a minute on the clock, you wasted 30 seconds going back to the spawn, making changes. Like, you pretty much dwindle it down to get one fight.
That
they just blow straight through the wall, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of stand 1. He was on the other side of it, sure enough, but the Titans weren't able to get the Mei value in that first fight. Now the second, I'm 37 Storm Arrow, wall comes up again. Stand 1 is just staying alive, but Faith was not nearly as lucky. They need a tick. At least the Uprising need to get someone on the point. They get Chunk sick here at the very least, but Punk didn't get a point before he's frozen and desuited now. He should be removed and a wall comes up to make sure no one interrupts this little tea party. And Myeonbong won't make it to the point alive. That's it. Boston get no tick here. It's all on the table for the Titans' first potential victory.
And the win condition is there. A single tick here on the point. I think the more of the question is what do you run? And I mean, look, the Pharah has been very good for you on this map. If they play the double hit scan, I think you can play the Mei, right? Get to the point, force a fight on the point. Make that happen. If they play something like the Torb, you can probably still play the Mei, right? As like a brawler up close, right? Get the Mei waltz have been really good from Teru. Get the freezes down, and all you need is one kill. That is literally all you need here. It'll be the Uprising on defense. Are they gonna play the Reinhardt?
Double hit scan. Reinhardt.
All right, so the Reinhardt we haven't seen at all from them in the series. They're going to play the Torb. So this is very brawly. This is like if they were to play the Orisa with the Mei, let's say, in the mix, right? This is where you would actually say, okay, the Reinhardt damage maybe puts you over the top, right?
This is the pro equivalent of idiots in plat picking Bastion double shield.
You could realistically do this if you're the Titans. You could TP to the point and play with the Sim. This is, I mean, you play this, people were playing this without the Lucio, right? With the Lucio, but you
early TP.
could realistically do this.
Okay, they're switching anyway.
So they're going to go back and make changes. I think they saw the Reinhardt, actually. They saw the Fire Strike. Reinhardt does not deal well against just the damage coming in from above with the Pharah and other things like that. The Reinhardt wants to brawl in these close quarters. The more you make this an open poke type of battle, the worse it is for the Ryan.
Teru probing. Valentine's lost his turret already. I'm 37, takes a direct. Always low indeed. The damage on Teru makes him. Faith is in trouble. Down one also hit with that one, but where is the damage, Matthew? Faith, Immortality Field has to be used. They're all sardines in a can right now. Just a strong wind would blow them over, but they're staying alive. Just the Titans though are moved onto the point. Up 37 down. Faith has also been removed. The Uprising are capitulating here. And finally, after so long, the hallowed halls of the North, we start to hear the echoes of past glory. The Vancouver Titans have snapped their loss streak.
And not just snapped it, a 3-0 win. And you see just how relieved they are. You gotta feel for this team. I know they've heard a lot from everybody about their play throughout this season. I know Chung Signot obviously able to even be there with the team right now. You see how excited he is. And look, they performed great today. And it's something that hopefully they can kind of build on, really make this tournament their own. They get the breadsticks done today. It's great to see how happy they are. Man, if you're Boston though, the adjustments. I can't even say that. There were no adjustments. Until the final map, you have to. When you realize something is not working to that level, you need to make changes. You can't just okay, well, we're just going to go run the same thing again and lose in the same fashion. You have to make. There needs to be more than just one game plan going in. Where I really feel like that kind of let them down today. I think maybe it's a learning experience here for Boston, but this is a brutal loss, right? Now they go down to 7 and 8. It's an opportunity for them to get up to 8 wins. We have a lot of teams in that 9 to 7 win category where you probably mark this down as a win for them if you're kind of doing predictions and the rest of their season. Now it's a loss. You got to find a win somewhere else to match this. But I think the real story, though, is the Titans able to come out here with a very impressive win.
Yeah, look, it's been a long season. You think only 12 matches, but that's spaced out over the majority of the season so far, and it's not an oasis. It actually is a well full of water in the desert. Dalton is your player of the match today, Matthew, and I think this is a pretty comfortable one for us to make. I mean, look, the impact that he's able to have on Tracer was quite ridiculous. He's playing against a composition that didn't always have the answers to deal with him, but even when there's a beginner in the mix, for example, Faith is being constantly harassed. Dalton doubling down. It's not just, single kills from pulse bombs. He gets a pulse bomb kill, and then he follows up on the AoE damage. Then the Hanzo turns up, he double headshots here. He's part of the incredible Teru wall scenario with the Dragon Strike to the high ground. Look, Vancouver Titans, the stars have aligned for them today. They come out with the absolute bloody jackpot. Not only, of course, the breadsticks, but a victory here. And you know what? To a degree for them, it might just make it worth it. The struggle that they've had up until this point, it might just make it all worthwhile. And hey, listen, look, while maybe talking about, like being dominant in playoffs is out of the equation, or even making the play-ins here, they still have this entirety of the Countdown Cup.
Well,
to show
why
what they're
can't they
made
make it to play-ins? I mean,
I think they
play the for the Countdown Cup, right?
They can be 3-1 here in the Countdown Cup. It's quite possible.
Yeah. I mean, they play. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they play the Justice, right?
Yep.
They have not looked that great, and then they play London. Like,
and
why?
They're not
why
mathematically eliminated from play-ins as well. So if you have a really good stage here, it's all on the table. There is the framework for one of the most unbelievable, ridiculous Cinderella story runbacks we've ever seen. I'm not getting too excited here, but this is a perfect meta for this team, right? They look really comfortable here. Chunks, it looks to be emerging as one of the better Wrecking Ball players in his time, obviously, Fusion University and Tier 2 probably has informed that a little bit. Incredible series. Great to see Vancouver get a win. Congratulations to not only the players, but also the org itself. We're going to take a break, and we're going to hear from Chunks himself, and I'm sure he's elated from the victory, so we won't waste too much more time. We'll be back with that interview after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
Welcome to Watch Point Post Show. It's interview time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Changshik from Breadsticks. I'm just kidding. From Vancouver Titans. Changshik, congratulations on your first win. 창 선수, 와우. 첫 승리. 지금 굉장히 기분이 좋으실 것 같아요. How are you feeling right now? I have to ask this. This is your first ever win for the Vancouver Titans. How are you feeling right now? 지금 어떠신가요? 지금 기분이?
진짜 경기 내내 계속 막 웃음이 지어지는 거예요. 근데 이제 2대 0까지 왔었을 때 아니다 아직 이긴 거 아니야 웃지마 이러면서 계속 방심을 안 하도록 제 자신을 계속 리마인드 했어요. 너무 좋아요 이거.
Yeah, I feel really good. You know, throughout the match, I was just constantly smiling, and when we were up 2-0, I just had to keep on telling myself to not smile, focus. We haven't won yet. Focus on the game. Don't get ahead of yourself. And just at the end, when we clutched that win, it just felt really good. And I think everyone here is very happy for you and the Vancouver Titans. All right, now let's go into my first question. So, you know, of course, like I mentioned, this is the first ever victory of the season, and you guys won it in a dominant fashion. How are you able to defeat the Boston Uprising today? 자, 첫 번째 질문 좀 쉬운 질문으로 시작을 좀 해볼게요, 창식 선수. 오늘 첫 승리. 시즌 첫 승리를 거두시게 되셨는데 보스턴 업라이징을 좀 오늘 어떻게 이기시게 됐다고 생각하시나요?
일단 저희가 스크림을 계속 하면서 이제 그 기존에 안 됐던 부분들을 많이 보완을 하려고 노력을 했고요. 이제 조금 더 수비적이기보다는 조금 공격적으로 플레이 스타일을 바꿔보자라고 해가지고 조금 더 공격적이게 준비를 했던 것 같아요.
Alright, so you know, looking back to our scrims and from the lessons that we learned from scrims, we sort of wanted to improve on the mistakes and all the things that weren't working for us during the scrims. And coming into today's game, one of the biggest things were we were more of a defensive team, but going into today against the Boston Uprising, we wanted to go a little bit more offensive. We wanted to bring the tempo and go a little bit more offensive to the Boston Uprising, and I think that really worked for our match today against them. All right, so I know you and Teru are, the only Korean-speaking players of the team. How is the communication like? Are you guys having any difficulties, or are you guys comfortable in using English, especially during the match when there's a lot going around? How are you communicating with the team? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 아무래도 테루 선수랑 창식 선수 빼고는 나머지가 이제 한국 선수가 아니기 때문에 좀 이제 소통이나 특히나 경기 도중엔 좀 어떻게 이렇게 얘기를 좀 하시나요?
일단은 저는 이제 밴쿠버라는 팀에 들어오기 전에 퓨전 유니버시티라는 이제 믹스 팀에서 이미 활동을 한 경험이 있기 때문에 영어로 브리핑하는 거에 대해서는 뭐 전혀 힘들거나 그런 거는 없었고, 중간중간에 이제 뭔가 통역이 필요한 부분이 있으면은 이제 테루 선수랑 이제 우리 팀원들 사이 통역도 몇 개 해주고 그러기 때문에 전혀 영어로 브리핑하는 거에 있어서는 소통의 문제나 그런 거는 없는 것 같아요.
So even before coming to Vancouver Titans, I was on Fusion University, so I really don't have any problem speaking English and doing English briefings within the game. Even when Teru, or even when inside the game, when we're having communications barrier, when Teru's having communication issues, I usually translate for him. So when it comes to communicating during the match or with the teammates, I actually don't have any problems. All right, then maybe I shouldn't, translate anything for you. Can I just do it in English? Changshik, can I just do everything in English? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Let me follow up to that question. Then. I know because you're looking at your camera right now. You're playing from Korea, so you're playing away from your teammates. Does that have any, problems? Do you have any problems with that? Does that have any hardships for you?
대답도 영어로 해야 되나요?
Can you do it in English? You want to try or no? No.
Okay.
If not, then I'll translate.
Okay, I wanna try.
Okay, you can try. You can do it. I believe, Changshik, you can do it.
Okay. I'm playing every scrims and every matches in Korea alone, so sometimes I feel like lonely because I'm stay here, and today we win, but I just can't yelling myself alone in my room. But in Canada, teammates they hug each other, yell each other, but I can't. I just do it myself alone in this room. So then
it does get a little bit lonely
for me. Yeah, and pings is little hard for me, but I can't change that problem. So I just do my best in this situation.
That's perfect. 너무 잘하셨는데. That was really good. So I have one more question. I'm just gonna do it in English. Your English is perfect. I didn't need to translate anything for you. All right, last question. I'm pretty. I don't know if you guys know, but you contributed to the breadstick bingo, and everyone's really hyped about it by getting the pile driver elimination. Did you and the rest of the teammates have this in mind going into the match? So before the match started, did you guys know that this breadstick bingo is a huge thing going for you guys? Were you guys hyped up for it? Were you guys talking amongst yourselves?
To be honest, before every matches, we always talk about, okay, let's go breadstick, let's go, but we didn't do that today matches. So I think that's the reason why we win this match today.
Yeah. And you guys did a fantastic job. Thank you for feeding breadsticks to your fans. And with that being said, Changshik, thank you so much for your interview. And again, big congratulations for the win. And hope to talk to you soon, okay?
네, 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. All right, let's head back to the desk.
Donnie! Someone go over there and hug that man.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That one nearly made me cry. I started to actually tear up. Like, yeah. I feel you, man. This
He's great. I want to talk to Changshik more. I want to have a sit-down interview and just talk to Changshik for like 20 minutes.
Also, his English is so brilliant.
It's so
that
good.
was perfect.
Very good.
Yeah. No need to be shy. You are absolutely.
Woo! That was a long interview, but I was very happy to hear from Changzik during that. That was I'm at a loss for words from it still. Well, breadsticks, match win. Really, what more can you ask for? I predicted a 3-2 win. I guess I was stupid. What was I saying? I thought they were going to drop 2 maps. Shit. But a 3-0 win for Vancouver Titans. I am super happy for the players, the org. Unfortunately, they, as of today, were officially eliminated from playoffs. But we don't need that negativity. We don't need that. We have breadsticks. We got wins. So really, super happy for all the players. I know getting that first win, like, the players must feel ecstatic. So awesome to hear. Awesome to see. Definitely Dalton was the player of the match. Dalton was a beast with his pulse bombs. I gotta point out the one play on Hanamura where Changsik was hidden in the corner on Mega and the Zen went by and he just didn't shoot and then got caught and got killed. I thought that was gonna be the start of them losing the map, but luckily they pushed past that and ended up converting into the map win, into the series win, so awesome. Awesome for the team and for the players. And their next match is on Sunday against Washington, which, you know, at this point, I feel like they could beat anyone. I'd say Washington is a pretty similar team to Boston in terms of skill. Maybe a bit more skilled, but Washington hasn't really played up to their skill. But that is on Sunday. Next match then. Get your breadsticks, get all that. And I got a bunch of codes to give out here also. These are the victory codes. So I got 10 of them, I think, to give out. I'm just going to spam them all in chat. So you redeem them on the BNet site. This has been a recurring thing. I'm sure people know the link for it. I'll wait 5 seconds before I open them up. Why not? We'll wait a little bit. All right, I'm sure anyone who wants the codes has their thing open. So let's go toss them all in here right now. 1. I'm going to do these. We're rapid firing them. I was going to do them slow, but the more I think about it. Also, make sure you have the chat selected to all chat, not just top chat or live chat, I think it is. Because sometimes some of the codes won't show if you have it set to top chat. And people are normally quick with these, but there will be more on Sunday. If you don't get any today, we got more to give out then. You know, we got codes, but other than that, though, let's see. This is the last one right here. We are all coded out. I think production wants to go celebrate with the players. I think they got like breadsticks for them and everything. So I'm not going to hold them up here with me saying my closing stuff. Vancouver wins. They got breadsticks. Pretty awesome to see. I will be back on Sunday with the match versus Washington Justice, but what an awesome start to the weekend for them. I will see people on Sunday. Have a good one.